Everybody, and welcome to Naughty or Nice with Miss Cassie. Tonight I have an incredible guest, the one and only DavidLawrence. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. How you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm doing well. Just chilling. It's close to my bedtime, so I'm in my pajama stuff.
Well, it does say that for the dress code of the show, that it's casual, jeans, pajamas, nude. We, as you know, because we're actually on air, we actually have to have some sort of clothing on. But, you know, our audience doesn't. You know, everybody there in the chat room, you are welcome to kick your clothes off, you know, send us some questions, you know, whatever trips into your little perverted mind. We'd love to hear from you. Yes. Do we have all our stuff turned off this time? David.
Yeah.
So it's what's going on with you these days? What do you have coming up?
Well, actually, this weekend coming up, I'll be in St. Louis at Beat Me in St. Louis, 2015. It's going to be an amazing event. I am looking forward to working with T1 at his dojo. Have a shoot there Friday. 3 women, I believe, I'll be working with.
Wow.
It's going to be a blast.
It sounds like it.
I'm presenting 3 classes, one photography class. I'm going basic for this one so that the people that don't have all this equipment will know what to do with a single light, with a single umbrella, and be able to create magic.
You know, that's absolutely amazing. You know, because I used to date a film producer who was also a photographer. And I used to assist him on shoots, and I was amazed at the process and what he could do with just a filter here, a flash there, an angle there. It was absolutely amazing. And now he was pretty much a genius with natural light. But working in a dungeon, we often don't get to do with the natural light.
No, that's very true. What I'm finding with a lot of the new breed photographers, they're using a lot of cinematic techniques, which is taking very high ISOs and working more with the natural light and using one light somewhere within an environment that just throws a little splash in there for impact. Some great stuff. Do you know Jade Rope on FetLife? They have a photo contest going on.
No, I don't.
Check out the imagery. That it's all about rope and photography. Outstanding. I'm actually one of the judges for the photographic contest. They invited me to do that, which was really great. And this weekend, I'll be giving my 2 cents on the final selections and my opinions. And I think they're also using my criteria base on how to make selections and a point system to score, and then you figure out who has the highest score. It's a very simple, easy way to do it. Wow. So it's going to be fun. It's some great
the contest.
Jade Rope.
Jade Rope.
Jade, then ROPE.
Jade Rope, of course.
Yeah. And there's just outstanding entries. And I can't say about specific ones because I don't want to be biased here.
Well, of course not. Of course not.
I'm a judge. I have a couple favorites. I've been going through that gallery like 10 times a day.
Yeah, people have no idea just how beautiful photography can be. Oh, there I go with the ums again. I'm trying to really work on that. So I go I remember, there's an annual photography contest that they do up in Seattle that
Yep.
I know that people strive for each year.
Yes.
I remember a former rigger I used to sub for submitted and exhibited there, and it was an amazing exhibit.
Oh, they do amazing work. I actually don't do photo contests. It's not my thing. Going back to the 70s when I first started, I used to belong to the Professional Photographers of America organization, And we used to do contests all the time. I mean, I'd be spending hundreds of dollars a month making competition prints. What I realized after a couple of years is that everyone's work was the same. And all these photographers, there was a box that everyone was in. I don't work that way. I am so far outside the box when it comes to being creative. So I just gave up contests. I never will enter them. This isn't my thing.
Well, you know, but everybody's got a different focus and stuff. I mean, I have a cousin, you know, her main business was, you know, mostly like the school photos and everything. And I went up there one day and I wanted her to shoot some nicer photos, you know, before I got any older. And, she did some fantastic work because it was the first time in so long that she'd been allowed to be creative. And worked with somebody who was like, oh yeah, you know, we'll take the clothes off, no problem. And she's like, what? I just wanted to be involved in the moment. I wanted these to be beautiful pictures. I wanted to be these pictures of me that I could look back and say, wow, I looked like that.
I actually, I mean, that's so important. I believe every woman, even guys, should be photographed, have needs done in their late teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and so and have a record of your life and the progression of you as a being on this planet. I think it's outstanding. I wish my daughter would do it. I don't know if she has, but you know, she should.
Well, yeah, I mean, it tells about your life. And I know I've worked with several photographers that, because I'm older, they want to Photoshop the wrinkles out of my face. And I'm like, no, you know, especially when it's like a picture and you're trying to bring around the suffering or the emotion of the picture. It's like, do not erase what brings that across.
As character.
Yeah, I have no problem with showing who I really am.
Well, I'm a realist when it comes to my photographic work. I don't change how people look. I'll enhance how someone looks. So, for instance, if I have someone that has a lot of heavy wrinkles, you could soften them, not remove them, but soften it just a touch, and it just enhances the look. It doesn't change the look, and that to me, that's artistry, to be able to do that. And people can look at an image and go, "Oh my God, you look so amazing!" But you see every wrinkle, you see every bit of who that person is, but yet it was softened just a little bit. Photoshop's amazing. You know, we used to do this stuff with painting, actually artwork on prints, but now, you know, it's done a little differently.
It is, and it's amazing to watch somebody that really is a master at Photoshop. You know, most people can do a little here and there, but some people, they make magic.
It is. That's what I tell people when we're going to have a shoot. I say we're going to make some magic. That's my saying right there.
Wow.
Yeah, I was talking to Mel, and unfortunately, I can't show my imagery on the show only because it's all nudes, and I know we're on live on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's some spectacular images of people. Of my subjects run the gamut from girls that were 18 to women in their 50s. You know, you know, for me, it's real women. I don't want the models and only models. I work with anyone and everyone, and it's really special.
Oh, and I'm so glad to see that, you know, because, you know, there's beauty in everything, you know, and it's just a matter of, you know, the perspective you choose to view it with.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, you know, there are photographers I've, you know, heard about. They only will work with a model if they're 110 pounds and under 25. You know, over 21 and under 25. It's so narrow, the view. There's so much more out there. So much more.
There is. I mean, I type people of all different shapes and sizes, and, you know, I mean, I love the challenge, the aesthetic, you know, it's like, where do I bring this body and what do I do with it now? And, you know, but then again, I kind of let the body tell me what the rope wants to do with it, you know?
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I just, you know, certain bodies, you know, not their mouth. Don't get me wrong. It's just certain bodies will speak to me of something that it just needs to be bound in a certain way. They'll have a certain crevice. They'll have something about them that I know if I lay the rope on that part of their body, I'm going to get a certain reaction. And, You know, so I'm okay with not, you know, sticking to a strict form. I adapt the form to the body that I'm working with and the personality and the emotion that's coming across at the, well, I guess it's all intention. I like to play. I mean, I'm an artist. My bottoms dance in the rope.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, as far as artistry goes, I really think that's such a valid point. When I did my first book, everything was planned. Every single shoot, I even drew out how I wanted the images to look, you know, in stick figure kind of drawings. I wish I saved them. I never did. But it was so planned, and everything was meticulous. It had to be in a certain place. Every single rope, I made sure there wasn't a cross rope. It was nuts. But that book, you know, was a big hit. By my second book, I was getting a little sloppier, you know, a little more freer in my expression with rope. Now, I don't have any attention on how the rope is going to be put, where it's put, as long as it structurally has integrity and that it supports the person. I do a lot of suspension work. And you know, there, it's just real important to make sure that the person you're putting up in rope doesn't die.
Oh, God, absolutely.
Yeah, so you gotta be careful, yeah, with what you do.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched how I've progressed. Like you talk about your photography, that has happened in my performances. I used to choreograph these intense scenes, you know, every second of it was planned out, every tie, every crack of the whip, everything.
Yeah.
You know, the music was planned. It was nuts. It was spectacular, but it was nuts. You know, now I just grab a rope bag. I have a few favorites I love to play with, and I just like, honey, hop on the stage, let's have some fun. And it just ends up being beautiful. You know, it's like we dance in the air, we jump on each other. It's like, you know, I just let it where it brings us, and the audience feels that. And it really is dancing in the air. And I'm having more fun with it than I ever imagined possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good. It's, you know, presenting at events. I've taken, you know, only about 1 or 2 events a year at this point. I'm looking maybe next year I'll do more. So I have 2 events this year. The first one I said is this weekend coming up. I have another one in May. Maybe I'll look for something else in the fall. I'll be up at a place called La Domaine Bessemer outside Albany.
Really?
It's a little, it's a home, you know, where it's just a group of people. They train masters and mistresses and slaves.
Oh, wow.
And Master R has been around this lifestyle like 45 years. This classical training stuff is awesome. You go there as a guest, you know, presenting workshops on the weekend, and you're treated like royalty. It's the best. It's the best experience. So people on the East Coast will know that maybe more so than people on the West Coast. But if you're ever on the East Coast, look up La Domaine Bessemer. It's La Domaine Bessemer, ESMAR, ESIMAR.
Awesome. I definitely have to look that up. I mean, there's all these places around the world, little things that, you know, you hear them, and when you happen onto them, I mean, it's truly amazing. I mean, you know, this isn't just some fad that's, you know, just now coming to light with 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, I know. When you talk to somebody who's been in this lifestyle for a long time, I remember when I was at Kinky College and talking to, I think it's Master Z, and they were talking about the old leather guard and what he had to go through to get into the lifestyle, to train and agree to, and the protocols. I mean, it was a big deal. And, you know, I'm afraid that, you know, these days we don't seem quite the same respect. And we also, you know, because there's honor and protocol and things that we do adhere to, and it does take training and commitment.
Without a doubt. I've been in and out of the lifestyle since I was about 16. So it's a long time.
Yeah, that is a long time.
A long time. I was a good little bad boy growing up.
At least you're consistent.
Oh, I am. Well, you know, like I believe in this very strongly, and this is something that anyone who's been classically trained and learned, you know, within protocols, you always start at the bottom and work your way up. You have to know how the other side lives, so that you know the experience, the sensations, the psychological interplay that goes on, and it's so important to know. I learned that all through my 20s.
Forever before I ever tied myself. I mean, I value that experience. You know, I must have spent 3 years as a rope bottom at classes, and you know, for everybody, just because I needed to know what it felt like. I needed to know how all this different thing and how it felt on the body, because I wanted to know what I was going to be doing to other people.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was probably the best thing that I felt I could have done. And I know some people, you know, and I have this in my classes all the time. They're going, you know, I just know I can't bottom. I can't do this. And I'm like, I'm not telling you to be a bottom. I'm telling you, experience this at least a few times. Tie the tie on yourself. I want you to know what this feels like, so you know what it's going to feel like to the person that you're doing it to.
Yeah, getting me in rope is difficult. Ain't gonna happen.
Well, you know, why would I try to put you in rope?
You know Charlie B, yes?
Yes,
You know Charlie B.
Charlie.
Charlie and I go back quite a few years, and when you were talking about jumping around on stage, you know, I thought of Charlie, because you know, he's just known for that. He does his beautiful suspension work, and he jumps on for a ride. But when you talk about rope, he went to Atlanta one year to present. And when he walked into 1763, the dungeon there, I believe it was, they jumped him, and they tied him up. And he was never tied up before.
I love it.
Yeah, he actually had a great time. We talked about it afterwards. He had a blast.
Yeah, I know Charlie quite well, but he never told me that one.
Oh, really? Oh, my God.
I love that guy.
I'm pretty sure he's on the road now.
He is. He is. Have you seen his post on Facebook?
No, I didn't.
Oh, my God. I think last week he was at the Grand Canyon. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the tour.
He has to come up my way and hang out in Philly at some point in time.
Oh, he should.
Yeah, he'll get here. You know, he's gonna go the whole country, most likely. Yeah, he's such a dynamic individual, heart of gold.
Oh, I know it. I adore Charlie. Yeah, I've hung out and played with him quite a bit, and you know, I mean, oh, we always had so much fun. I mean, at conventions and stuff, we always hook up and we just goof off. Charlie's so much fun.
He is. He is.
Yes.
And he's magnanimous.
Yes.
He absolutely is.
Charlie B, if you're watching, I love you, baby.
Yeah.
Charlie. We love Charlie B.
So what goes on in the rope world out in LA these days?
Oh, goodness. There is a lot going on. Yes. It seems like every week a new dojo is opening up, or a new this or a new that. And it's amazing, you know, that there's so many classes going on. I know I myself teach about 6 classes a month. You know, there's a lot of people that are interested in it, and there's a lot of diversity, which I think is good. I actually got to teach a really cool class with Nikki Nefarious at the Stockroom last month, and we got to do an East versus West class.
Really?
She ties in synthetic and I tie in hemp.
Right.
We had a chance to present both sides of the rope, so to speak, and really fun. Really, really fun.
Well, the master of the synthetic ropes would be, for me, Lou Rubens. I don't think there's anyone that has mastery that even comes close to it in that, you know, DID world. It's outstanding what he does with synthetic ropes.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I've met Lou Rubens and sat in on some of his classes, and just adore. I had so much fun, and he ties that monkey's fist at the beginning of class. I adore him for that.
Yeah. He's also someone just really nice, heart of gold, straightforward. He calls himself, oh gosh, I hope he's not listening. He calls himself a wallflower because he's shy.
Aww.
So I always tease him about that, but he really isn't shy. He just is quiet. You know, he's really very much out there on stage all the time. But when he's off stage, he just likes just to chill out. You know, so he calls himself a wallflower. It's like, no, get out of the corner.
No, he's mellow. He's really easy to talk to. I have to tell you, I really enjoyed, you know, just hanging out with him.
He's great. He's great. I spent about a week with him out at his home in Washington a bunch of years back, and just had a great time hanging out with him.
Oh, I'll bet you did.
It was good. And we run into each other at events from time to time. You know, it's interesting when you present on a national and international level, you run into people from all over the world all the time. And, you know, I've met some of the best people in the world, you know, in the rope community.
Oh, I know you have. You know, I haven't been out of SoCal in a while, but, you know, playing in Denver and Chicago, Portland, Atlanta, Tucson, it's amazing, you know, the different riggers you meet and you run across. You know, I've only gotten to go to Shibari Con like a couple of times, but, you know, I remember like every rigger there that made this huge impression on me, and I still see them out there. And it's like, you know, it's like I don't have time to follow everything, but I do. It's like I see their name in something. It's like I have to read it. It's like I know they're teaching on the other side of the world, but I'm curious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, out there, you know, I think it's Portland area. Noble is up there. He's wonderful. You know, the work he's been doing lately and his photography is outstanding these days. He's really come so far in like a 5-year period. His photographic style has really emerged. And then Jim Duvall up in Seattle area, also terrific with what he does. Yes,
I really adore Jim's work. Yeah, and he's a great guy. I remember meeting him a few years ago. And at that time when I met him, he was with Sophia Sky. And she was one of the first female riggers that really made an impression on me. I mean, she jumped up in the ropes and spun and did all these transitions herself. It was amazing to watch. I mean, it just really opened my eyes as to some of the things, some directions you could take this in.
No, it's true. You know, it's interesting you say that. I was just observing this past weekend a girl doing self-suspension work, and she was very meticulous and really was very careful, but what she was doing was so dangerous, you know, and she put so many, like 5 sets of locking, you know, sections down a single rope. What if she had, and she did on like 3 different lengths of rope. What if she had to get out of her rope quickly? She couldn't do that.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, I spent some time afterwards and talked her through some techniques on how to just put your rope away. You know, you put your 2 locks on, and then you gather your rope and you put it away. You don't have to lock it all up because you're putting yourself in danger that way. So
yeah,
experienced people will learn. So my point to this is that, you know, the new breed, a lot of the new breed, from what I'm observing here in Philadelphia, they start out learning and they go from tying someone and then to suspension in 2 weeks.
I know. I see a lot of courses out there from 4 to Sky in a weekend, and I am so uncomfortable with that. I mean, I know how many years it took me to be good at suspension and what I had to learn. I mean, I do self-suspension, and I know the weight shifts you have to do. Mm-hmm. And you know, I keep, you know, I get all these new students in class. The first thing they mention, oh, I want to learn suspension. I said, well, you know, if your floor work is good, I will be glad to train you, but you need to get this down first. And, you know, then they sit and they start actually tying and they realize, yeah, you kind of have to practice this stuff.
Yeah, very true. Very true. And, you know, I run the Philadelphia rope bite munch once a month. I'm going to try and get it to 2 times a month. And it's a small group, 100 or so people. We get about 12 people each meeting. And it's all casual. We have a bite to eat. And that's Lokai is the one that came up with the rope bites.
Oh.
And it's just it's international. There are rope bites all over the world. And they're small groups of people that get together. They share rope and knowledge and a bite to eat all at the same time. In Philly, the scene for so many years was so fragmented and nothing happened here. And now all of a sudden there's a few groups that have emerged and it's a really beautiful scene. You know, Robert has Mask, an event that happens every month. There's Quench, which is a learning group, small group for people to learn rope. I have the rope bike groups and few other groups here and there. So there's always something going on. The Aviary group also once a month has a great event. So it's nice. Now Philadelphia is finally, the brotherly love is coming through, and people are having some fun and appreciating each other. It's really good to see.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, I know rope has exploded in LA, and I can just imagine what it has everywhere else. Hey, Mel, we've been talking quite a while. Have we had any chatter in the chat room?
They're chatting. They're being bad. They're talking about bacon.
Bacon?
Well, Javier's in the chat room.
Oh.
We have Darren is in the chat room.
What is Javier known for besides bacon?
Javier he likes to talk about goats. He asked a question, and let me see if I can find that question. And now you'll understand the reason why I'm not paying any mind. Oh, hold on a second. I'm not paying any mind to him. Okay, let's get up here. Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, he has to make at least one goat joke a show, right?
Oh, yeah. He's asking, let me see if I can find it on the screen up here. Does he have any pictures?
Oh, my God.
He says,
Goat sex.
Well, first of all, penetration is legal, illegal. I don't think it would be any more legal for goats than it would be for humans.
Yeah, and they're talking about Kevin Bacon, and Javier says the Rope Dojo, So and I'm trying to keep the chat room in order, but they are going crazy. They're talking about the Seahawks, Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, they're just having a great old time in the chat room. Let me tell you who's in the chat room. So anyone that's watching, please, if you're watching the show and you're not in the chat room, please click on TSR Network, come into the chat room, because I know you might be watching us on Google Hangout, on YouTube, but come to TSR Network and come into the chat room. We have Darren, we have Pink Carey, we have Don Javier, we have Little T, we have Art Miller, we have Tiger, and lots of people are in here, so please come. And Little T is in Pittsburgh, so that's not too far from you, right? Right, David?
David?
Pittsburgh is, probably about 6 hours from me.
Never mind.
6, 7 hours, something like that. Pennsylvania, it takes 8 hours to drive across the state from here, from Philly.
Yeah, it's not a small state, Mel.
Well, in Pennsylvania, you have blue balls. You have two blue balls. You have one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast of Pennsylvania. You have Intercourse, Pennsylvania, and you have Paradise, Pennsylvania, or Pleasure, or something like that. So you've got some strange names.
Well, we had some pretty strange founding fathers here in Pennsylvania.
Blue balls.
They did have them back then.
You live close to blue balls.
I think that's not far from Intercourse.
Yeah, I think it's very close to Intercourse.
What happened years ago, Mel, they had covered wagons, so they'd leave Philadelphia going out west, and they get blue balls, and then finally they got to release, and they called the town Intercourse. It just worked. So when
are you coming out to LA?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I was there in 2011 finishing up my men's book, imagery, and I'm overdue. I would love to get out there again. Actually, a friend of mine, Model T, has invited to get me covered to get out to Folsom. I've never been to Folsom. So was it September, I think?
Yeah, that's in September. I've been dying to go. I haven't made it yet. But yeah, that's the event to be at.
I haven't made it. I have to contact the people that run to see if I can get myself a booth out there and just rig all day.
That would be awesome.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing from what I hear. Everybody that goes comes back with these stories.
Well, come meet me up there.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, this year.
Yeah, just the thought of it's making me come, Mel.
Yeah, listen, we should get a TSR Network booth with rigging and have a show from there.
That would be awesome.
If we could get Wi-Fi or internet's, streaming is very important to have really good internet. We could probably do that. We could probably do it on something else besides just regular streaming. We could do it on the new apps that they have out there. That might be fun.
Yeah, but there's also probably a cafe or something nearby. We could hook into theirs with permission, to have Wi-Fi. So that, I don't think that would be an issue.
Oh, then we should talk.
Yeah. I have to make a note. I have to contact the Folsom folks.
Do you have any of your books where you can show the cover? Because we know that we can't show nudity. But
Well, I do. This one. This was my first book, Bound.
Here, let me click on the camera.
Now, this book, this has been sold out since 2007, I believe. And it just sold, I believe, on Amazon for over $2,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and I actually saw it sold for like $1,700, $1,800 once. I've seen them on the aftermarket for $800, $500. It's crazy to me because I sell them for $100.
Wow.
And the publisher sold them initially for like $25 a book. And to hear that book is going for that amount of money is insanity.
That is insane.
This is my men's book, but my men's book is also sold out.
Wow.
And this book is pretty intense. Let me see if I have anything in here. Well, this is a California dude. So every person in the book had a portrait piece to start their section, and also they were able to talk about the project. Let me find it. I have a bunch of California boys in here.
Mm-hmm.
And here's Alan. And this was in Charlie B's studio.
Oh, wow. Rick, is that the background of the studio there?
Yes, that was before he had the new one done.
Yeah, because he's got the trees painted in there now.
Right, and this was before that transition.
I remember that.
Where's my favorite guys? Oh. This is Jeffrey and Dick. Jeffrey is in the rope, and Dick, they're a couple. This was taken out in the desert, Palm Springs, sunrise. It was amazing time, but they're great. Those guys, and people really like Jeffrey. He looks good.
Yeah, that was.
I'll show you a picture of Jeffrey. He was almost 50 in this image.
No way! Oh wow.
Yeah, amazing body.
That's hot.
Yeah, he is hot. So anyway, my men's book is available in PDF format, but the hard copies are sold out. And then this is Rebound. It's in plastic. And this one, it's a heavy book. Look how thick that book is.
That's the one that I've seen. That I believe Cyan has a copy of that one. And
this one still, I have copies, and they've been on sale for a while, and they're going to stay on sale for a while. There's 368 pages in that book, and probably close to 600 images, and 36 women, I think, are in that book. As goes $50 on my website, and then through Amazon, I think it's $59.95 through Amazon. And if they go through me, I sign them.
that's awesome.
Yeah, through Amazon, they come shrink wrapped like that.
But they
no signature.
very quick.
It's what?
I said, but Amazon ships out very quick.
They do. And, anyone who wants to buy a book internationally has to buy it through Amazon, because the shipping for me, if I send a book overseas, UPS wanted $170 to ship a book to Australia.
No way.
Yeah, crazy.
Crazy.
And even, the post office with flat rates, you're looking at $50 to send a book. Amazon, it was $9.
Oh.
They just have a lot of power.
They have a lot of power, and they're getting more power all the time. It's amazing.
Yes, they are. They are. But I send everything out right now, UPS, and it's I think around $20 or so. But it insures the book and it gives tracking, and it's just, so that's how I do it. But that's within the U.S. Anyone that's purchasing or wants to purchase outside the U.S. should always go through Amazon. It's just a better deal. It's a waste of money otherwise. It really is. So buy books.
Yes, they need to buy your books. Your books are fabulous. Now, you mentioned earlier that you've been involved in kink since you were about 16. So what originally sparked this off?
Oh, gosh, this is such a fun story. I was 16, and I was visiting my friend Robert, and he had just moved with his family from Queens to Long Island. And, unfortunately, in New York, you couldn't drive at that age, so I didn't have a car. So I hitchhiked. And anyone from the 60s, you used to hitchhike everywhere.
Oh, yes. I remember those days.
Yeah. And it was pretty cool to do so. Well, coming back from his house, I was picked up by a beautiful woman in her mid-30s that happened to take me home with her for a weekend. And I got a really good education. I mean, talk about seventh heaven for a 16-year-old who's like coming into this prime of his life. I mean, she taught me about the female body, how to care for it, how to have a woman respond. I mean, things I still do it today. And it was a blast. And I spent one other weekend with her after that. But it was the beginning of, learning about being on the bottom, being on the top, and the things you can do to play. So it was fun. A lot of fun.
It sounds like fun, and it also sounds like you gained an appreciation of the female form.
Oh, I've never given it up. Never given it up. Yeah, I mean, I've been asked to teach classes for men on how to navigate a woman's body. Many men have no clue.
That's true.
They don't. I had Slave Judy tied up one night in when I lived in Yardley, Pennsylvania. And had a friend over, and he was going to get her excited. So how many times have you watched a man put his hands between a woman's legs and start sandpapering her vagina?
Yeah.
I think that's exciting. I mean, it's like, okay, where did you learn that? Have you ever watched a woman cringe when you do that? He thought that was how you got a woman excited. And this is a 30-something-year-old man. It baffles me. So it's not uncommon. Men.
No, it's not. And yeah, they need an education, please.
Yeah, I'm really thinking about putting a class together. I'm going to be teaching over this weekend a hogtie and forced orgasm class. So, I mean, forced orgasm play is the best way to learn about a woman's body. I mean,
absolutely. Now, your forced orgasm play. So many doms that I've played with are dependent on the goddamn Hitachi.
I like my hand.
And the Hitachi's fine, but there's so many other ways of things that you can do to play with, and manual stimulation that works. I mean, the first time I hooked up with a high-profile dom, we did a kidnap scene. He tied me a rope, threw me in a car, brought me up to the lair in LA, and we did this big long scene, eventually suspended me, and he kept poking me in all these different erotic zones in my body with canes and stuff, not only just caning me, but poking me, and I squirted like no tomorrow all over the place.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And
well, that's foreplay.
Yeah.
No, what most men don't understand, foreplay for a woman is essential. You don't just go like right for the clitoris or right to the nipple. You have to work the body, and you have to look at the reaction. Even though the parts are all the same, where you touch the parts for each person is slightly different. But you look at the reaction. Have you ever gotten a person so excited that all you have to do is take a feather and touch their clitoris and they explode?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most amazing thing to do.
It is. I love that.
Yeah.
It's like I've been nailed a few times. It's like, whoa.
Right. Yeah. Or you keep bringing your hand further away, and they keep trying to go closer and closer.
Good one too.
Yeah. It's you got to play. When I train a slave, one of the things I've been doing a lot of late is to have a woman connect her mind and body, because the mind and body has to be in sync.
It is so important.
Oh, it is. Once that connection's made, though, you can then start to train someone to come on cue or with cues. Like I had one woman, she came to the word cream. Whether it's, and the verbal, just hearing it, like, do you want cream with your coffee, ice cream, just the word cream in any form. And she would have an orgasm or just get very excited.
No, I could see that happening. I mean, it's a matter of conditioning. I mean, I can think myself an orgasm, if I give the right imagery in my mind and intention, I can give myself an orgasm with never touching myself. It's an amazing thing. Of course, it takes a little bit of concentration, but
oh, hardly any. We should talk. I'll give you some secrets. Yeah. I could say to this one person, I'm going to count to 10, and you will come. And as I count, I get to 1, I get to 2. I'm saying, and you're getting more excited. I'm bringing them through every stage of building without being touched. They could be sitting in their office at their desk. Exactly. It is the most amazing. And just release, just let it go. Surrendering, it's connecting that mind to your body.
It is mind, body, soul. It really is.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, when you connect on that level. What, Mel?
I didn't expect this conversation about sex with David. I'm getting kind of a little horny and risky, but in the chat room we have a question. So we can talk about sex. So Don Javier in the chat room has invited you to come and do a photo shoot at the Lear Desad in their new dojo room in Los Angeles. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
No, I haven't. So here's what I would love to happen in Los Angeles. Maybe he can make it happen. Get a group of people together that want to learn rope and photography for a weekend, and I'll come out and spend 6 days out there. And he can contact me. We'll figure out the dollars and cents of it all, and it could be a blast.
So
we can do this.
We can do that. He can contact you on Facebook, correct?
He could contact me on FetLife through my website, ShibariArtPhotography.com.
If it's Javier, have him contact me. I'll hook him up. I might even talk to him about goats.
What about cows?
Moo.
No, that's not a good one. You got to go.
That was great.
Yeah. It's from my old days when I worked on a ranch and rode horses and took care of horses a lot.
I'm an elegant cow.
An elegant cow. So let's get back to squirting. How many women squirt?
Well,
2 in this room.
yeah. A lot of it has to do with technique. If a woman allows me to play with her, do some fisting, I can get her to squirt. I pretty much have a good track record.
Yeah, I think once a woman has several orgasms in a row, getting them to squirt in the next series is easier. Mm-hmm. So long, you have to use your hand because you can't do it with an instrument, but you have to get your hand up under the bone, cervical bone, and back there. That's where all that action takes place.
Yeah, there's that magic little place, and I know if I can get the friction in there in my little hands.
Yep.
It's like I hit that spot, and it just gets to that point every time.
Yeah, it's magic. It's magic. It's reading the body. Reading the body, knowing the responses, and being able to
shake her head.
In 4.5 years, please don't talk about sex.
Oh, yes. So we need to start this.
Wait, 4.5 years from what?
Fund.
Oh, since I've been laid.
Yeah. Mel needs sex.
Mel.
What?
Girl, what are you doing?
I'm taking my time.
And so what is it you're waiting for?
For it to grow back.
and did you water it?
It's very dry down there. I don't know.
Wait, I'll be right back.
Where did he go?
He's gonna get you some lube.
Oh.
You need
Oh, he's back. He's fast.
some of this. We'll get you a supply.
No, it's just, it will happen. I just, particular, it's just,
Oh, darling, just stop being so particular. Unbecoming. It just leads to frustration. I pulled my hair out being that way.
Oh.
Thank you for sharing, David.
Oh, you're very welcome. And it didn't grow back.
Oh my goodness.
I'm aching.
Oh.
No, I'm aching from laughing. It hurts. So, it hurts.
No squirting in the corners there, please.
I can't. I forgot to wear underwear tonight.
Oh, that's nice. Well, I was telling someone what I typically do when I see a woman with underwear. I take one of my knives and I slice them off. Because a woman with underwear is just keeping everything closed.
True.
And she's not free and open to experience.
That's true.
And I sure want to be with women that want to experience.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm always up for people cutting off my underwear. Unless it's a pair of really expensive lingerie I just bought. Then we need to negotiate.
Well, yeah, then you just read the notice. Do not wear expensive underwear.
Yes.
Yeah, that's in the invitation.
I had a boyfriend where we used to just love to go to thrift shops to find clothes that were sexy that he could cut off of me in precarious places. God, I love that.
It's the best. I love doing performances where I have my bottom is in clothes, and as I'm putting rope on, I'm ripping and cutting them away.
Oh my God, I love that.
It's the best.
Do you mind if I borrow that?
No, not at all. You have a woman come out in a, what are those, what are the white shirts called? The type of white shirt with button down?
What, a collared shirt or?
Yeah, like a collared white shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So you wear like a dress and you have a belt on it. And you start putting rope and you start ripping it off.
Mm.
It's delicious. We're taking a knife and cutting it. Cut the buttons first.
Yeah, I have a knife that is got a little like fork at the end of it, and I can actually unbutton the buttons with that, and then I can pop the buttons off.
Or you could slip the knife into the loop where the button is and slice the loop away.
Yeah.
Ooh, that you just tingled there, didn't you? I like that.
I like knives and rope.
That's really good. That's really good. So,
They said it's a dress shirt.
Yeah, it is a dress shirt.
It's an Oxford dress shirt.
oh, that's an Oxford shirt, right? That's what they're called.
An Oxford dress shirt, but I know as a little girl, our dress shirts had Peter Pan collars.
I think we've been watching Miss Cassie having orgasms as she's talking to you, David.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, it's easy because close your eyes.
Okay.
Yeah. So remember a time when you just felt so safe and secure in your own world where you're able to have anything happen that you wanted to. That time, the one you're thinking of right now, And you were just able to come and come and come to your heart's content. You just let it go all the time, didn't you?
Oh my God, yes, I can remember some fun playtime.
Yeah.
I used to love to do fun things with my leftover holiday candles.
Oh, I love rope and wax.
Yes. Yes, rope and wax is fun.
Here's what you can do. This is a great exercise. You tie a woman down, do an ankle to thigh tie on each of her legs, and then you tie them, have them open. So she's completely open and accessible to you. And you have some hot wax, and you have a bowl of ice cubes.
Oh, nice.
So you insert the ice cubes, and you start dripping wax. And all of a sudden, she will get to the point of having an orgasm with hot and cold simultaneously within her.
I can see that happening.
It's off the chart, incredible to see.
You know, the thing I find with inserting ice cubes, though, that a lot of times it deletes the cum. I don't know. I melt the ice cubes. I get really hot, and it's like I squirt.
Oh yeah, water starts flowing. So, I mean, have you ever dripped hot wax over the labia? I mean, I'm not talking about like a candle. I use a, you know, the paraffin wax in where you put your hands in to get your hands all soft.
Yeah, I do. I won't get a spa. I love that wax.
I use one of those tubs, and I have like 3 to 4 pounds of wax, and I use a ladle.
Nice.
Pour the wax over the body. I first put a thin layer of baby oil, so that when the wax hits hot, it heats the oil momentarily, so it even has more impact. And then when the body's coated, you then make little pockets around the body and pour wax under the wax.
I love that.
It's even more. You could do that right around the vulva and the vagina, and make pockets there. Have ice tubes go in, hot wax go in, and so much stimulation. You don't know if you're coming or going.
You guys have the chat room spellbound. You said, indeed, no questions needed. You're a great old time.
Oh my goodness. I haven't done wax play in a long time.
And you go to Home Depot, you buy Cecil, the cheapest rope, because you throw it out afterwards.
Absolutely.
Yep. No, you don't even try to clean rope. I used to boil my rope that I would use with wax when I had hemp. I'd boil it. The wax would go to the top. You have to skim it off. Yeah. What a pain. What a pain in the neck. So I just buy cheap rope and throw it out afterwards.
Exactly. It's like, oh yeah. It's like when I was rigging for that porn shoot and they're going, I want to slather it with a coconut oil. I said, you will buy my rope. And they did. So I let them have fun. So
the last part of the training I was talking about before, I call it P2s, pleasure and pain. Okay. So once you have a person trained to be connected so strongly with their mind and their body, and they have orgasms, it works, add pain to it. And I guess I'm going to say this, yeah. And so nipple torture, the best way to have a woman come without any stimulation, just pain to the nipples.
I disagree with that a little bit.
Well, you haven't been trained yet, sweetie. We'll talk.
No, I've played with some sadists that, if you play with them the right way, it's good. Now, I like a good kick to the clit. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy some pain. Nothing will get me wetter than, slapping my clitoris around. But the nipple stuff, I think, because I've been hurt.
You have a block to that one.
Yeah, I have a block to it.
We have to fix it. We have to fix that first. We have to repair that, and then we can move forward.
Exactly. Mel says we have a question.
Oh.
Yeah, we do have a question in the chat room. Let me bring up the chat room. Okay. The question is, Kate Carey is going to the university, and she says, need to know, how can we get permission to use pictures for sex research papers since I'm in school. He's wondering if there's a possibility that she could use the report that would not be published.
I don't see the question. I didn't hear the whole question.
Oh, Big Carrie says, need to know how I can get permission to use his pictures for sex research papers since I'm in school. Wondering if there's a possibility.
So she wants to know if she can, how she needs to get permission to use imagery.
Yeah, well, I think she wants to have permission to use some of your pictures for her sex research picture.
That's really simple. Just write me. Yeah, just write me. Let me know where they'll be used and how they'll be used, and I can give you, usage rights for that purpose.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who asks me to use my imagery for something, I have really no issue with it. I have issue with people just taking images. I mean, it's going to happen, but it hurts. Any artist that's out there that makes a living by their imagery, they're nice enough to share somewhere. When you steal images, there's just no rhyme or reason. They're not free.
I agree with that, because if anybody just asks me, I'm cool with it. All I ask is that you credit the photographer, the rigger, and the model.
Yep.
It's as simple as that. I want my work out there, and I'm very flattered that you appreciate it. But yeah, you don't need to steal it. That's just stupid.
Yeah. All you have to do is ask. I've only turned down one person, and I turned down the one person because they stole pictures first.
Yeah. Asking for permission in hindsight doesn't count.
Yeah, and then when I qualify steal, it's not someone that takes an image, puts it, let's say, in their profile and says this was taken by so-and-so. It's someone who took an image and used it as if it was their own. Yeah,
that's just wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, be honest about what's yours. Well, I know I had one of my friends, he did a beautiful photo for a model and everything and gave it to her. And then she went and had somebody else Photoshop it without his permission. And, it's that whole not asking permission thing. Thing is, if she had asked ahead of time, I don't think it would have been a problem.
Yeah.
But, just little things like that. Everything we ever learned in kindergarten: ask permission, take naps, eat snacks.
And be nice.
And do not steal.
And do not steal.
I know Ken Marcus has a huge problem with that. I just saw something the other day on FetLife. Somebody had a photograph, and they said they found it from somewhere. He goes, yeah, it's mine. Take it off.
Yeah, Ken's a sweetheart, too. I like him a lot.
One of my closest friends. I love it.
When I was out there last, we went to one of the big Jewish delis out there.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of it, but it was really good food.
Cantor's.
Okay, and and it was a really nice time.
Yeah, it was Cantor's. That's where he goes all the time.
Well, tell him I say hi.
And we should put a shout out to Venus DeMilo.
Yeah, we were all together.
Love her. Miss her.
Oh.
Miss her. I'm gonna cry.
Oh.
Oh,
No crying on naughty or nice. Oh, speaking of, everybody in the chat room, you guys need to start voting on whether or not you think David Lawrence is naughty or nice. Now, David, we're just about to 10 o'clock, but we can
What about nice and naughty?
Huh? Nice.
What about nice and naughty?
You can be nice and naughty.
Yeah. Why one or the other? It could be nicely naughty.
Absolutely. Our audience comes up with great ways of putting it. Some people they think lean more towards the nice side. Some people are more naughty. And, I'm sorry, but I think there's a blur between the two. I don't think anybody can be just nice or just naughty.
You have to understand their motivation.
True.
Just like as a photograph. There's an underlying motivation for every photograph ever taken.
Yes.
And if you can understand that, if a photographer can get you to feel their motivation, that's a winner.
No, that is very true. I remember I was doing photos for a young submissive, and we could not get her to bring her emotion, the submissiveness out on the camera. She just kept posing.
Yeah.
So I knew I had to do something with her to get her in a submissive frame of mind. So I took her to where that the chain spider web is at Sanctuary, and I tied her arms up to the top. And I basically, you know, set my camera up so I knew she would be right in my range. I turned the light off and started telling her horrible stories about rats chewing at her, and started freaking the fuck out of her. I got some of the best photos of that young woman. It was amazing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's true. When I mentor people in photography, except students from around the world I've worked with, one of the things I talk about is the directorial style of working with someone. The way I did, you know, work with, you know, when I did fashion photography, the way I would work with a model, or in the bridal wedding industry, the way I worked with brides, it was always from camera as a director, not going up and posing and fixing. It was just talking to people, getting them to emote, bringing out in someone, giving them the room to express. And it's a talent. You have to exercise it.
Oh, it absolutely is. I've had the good fortune of working with some like fairly high-end models, and they're amazing. They don't pose. They move. They dance in front of that camera. And I mean, they just totally capture that lens. I mean, like no other. But it's all a matter of, you know, embracing it. And yeah, I don't like it posed. Those people that tell you and you're sitting there smiling for 45 seconds, it's like, that'll never look natural.
No. That's why I like to photograph real people over practiced models. Real people, real women, real men that enjoy the sensation of rope, or brand new people that never have been in rope. You're going to get actual expression from it. And I've gotten a lot more sadistic in the things I do, you know, with rope with people these days. Hooks and other fun things.
Yeah, there's lots of sadistic things you can do in rope.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes, yes. I have one man that I do rope on, and a lot of other things, and he doesn't really have a limit on his pain level. It's amazing. It's like my imagination doesn't have to be bound by certain things with him. And he's the only one I do Hojo Jitsu ties with. And oh God, that just gets me so hot when I do that. It's just, well, he's the only one I think I could do that with, just because I know he could tolerate it. But whew.
Well, yeah, I sign my books Ties and Tails because I like to tie and I love using my single tails. And I had one of my models was also a submissive, and I was at a play party in New York with her, and she asked me to single tail her until she bled.
Wow.
She wanted that. And it's like, she had over 1,000 throws on her, you know, and it's the only time I ever single tail someone to the point of bleeding. It's not really, blood's not my thing. I'm not into blood play in any way, but I accepted the request because I really like Lisa, nice person. And boy, she was in heaven. Her endorphin rushes were so off the chart.
Yeah, I've met people like that, that, you know, they're for some reason, yeah, there's a very heavy bottom that I play to, and we use thorned canes on him and all sorts of things that I would just never dream of using on somebody, but it brings them to a space that is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to tell you, it makes my inner sadist so freaking happy. You know, I dance for the next 2 weeks. Yeah.
It's good. It's all good.
Oh, goodness.
Absolutely.
Any more questions in the chat room now?
We have some naughty and nice stuff. Art Miller said nice. Javier says naughty fucker. Carrie said nice, naughty. And Tiger Rag said he is a sadist. So I'm going to say naughty, but nice, naughty. Some people are saying you're naughty and nice.
I'm just a big teddy bear with claws.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Well, it's getting late. I think we're going to have to wrap up the show. I think next week my guest is going to be Mistress Betty from the Den of Iniquity now. Yeah, she used to be at Sanctuary. Now she's having fun with those ladies at the Den of Iniquity. So we're going to catch up with Betty and see what she's into these days.
Yeah, they used to have a Den of Iniquity in New York.
Did they really?
Yep. Yeah, I photographed up there once.
Wow.
Actually, the images are in Rebound.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So you're going to follow up on the Folsom Fringe thing. So we're going to plan this thing.
Oh, yeah. TSR booth with rope. Yeah, I will find out about that. I'm going to see what I can find out.
All right. Well, we're going to say goodnight to the audience. Oh, well, one more thing, David, before we say goodnight. What's all your contact information if people want to get in touch with you? What websites should they go to? Is there an email, phone numbers? What is the best way?
Well, there's my website. I have a form contact page, that has a form. That's ShibariArtPhotography.com. Or if someone wants to write down an email address, it's DavidLawrence@ShibariArtPhotography.com. And those are the two best ways. Someone could find me on FetLife also, David Lawrence on FetLife, if they want to. Contact me there.
And I also found you on Facebook and Twitter. So I'd say that it's fairly easy to find you if they choose to.
Yeah, I am considering I actually build websites and coach people on how to get their social media going. I am the worst. I don't follow up on it myself at all. I really don't. I'm really bad with my own promotion. I need someone who's going to promote for me.
Well, absolutely. It's like, it's amazing because it's like I used to be dead set against Twitter, and now it's just part of the normal thing that I do. Okay, this is so many days before the show. Okay, Twitter this time, and it just becomes part of the routine. But, it actually is very effective. I've seen some people really up their popularity quick using Twitter.
I'll have to heed that and take it into account. I'm also building I build websites for small businesses, for money besides my photographic stuff. And, I have to do Twitter and Facebook for that too. And I don't. I'm lazy when it comes to social media.
Well, it's a lot of work, when you get involved with the social media. But it's become like it's become a necessary evil, shall we say? Because everybody's on Facebook. If I didn't have to be on there promoting things, I personally wouldn't be doing Facebook because I'd rather be on FetLife. But
I like the contact with people. I like the talk directly, phones, face to face. For me, social media is just a barrier, to actually doing what human beings are meant to do, which is to talk to each other.
I agree with you 100%. I used to be in IT tech. And when I got out of IT, I was so fed up with technology that I refused to check my email for 2 years and told people, if you want to get in touch with me, you have to actually come over or call me.
Right.
I fought hell for 2 years and finally got peer pressured back into the computer world.
Wow. Well, you're doing well with it.
Yeah. Finally.
I've had so much fun talking with you.
Oh,
and,
I'm glad.
And listening to Mel in the background making noises.
Oh, baby, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Any announcements for TSR?
Nope. Next week I don't have a guest, so we're doing one-on-one with Rev Mel, and I'll be just chatting, asking for topics. You can write me on FetLife, and let's cover some crazy stuff.
Was yesterday your Whippler interview? Or?
Yeah, yesterday I interviewed Whippler all the way from Israel. It was awesome.
Yeah, she interviewed somebody about this new kink app on Apple.
Yeah, it's called Whippler, and how they had to set it all up with Apple was pretty excruciating, believe it or not, because they didn't want anything like BDSM words to be used, nothing pink, and so they're the very first app for BDSM, and it's a messaging center. You can message. So I thought it was a dating site, but it's a messenger. You can message each other.
Really?
And, yeah. So I was pretty impressed with it. Yeah, I had a great time.
Cool.
So,
They needed George Carlin's mind
yeah,
Yes.
they sure did.
with that.
They sure did.
All right. Well, I think that's all the announcements. And yes, it has been really fun talking to you, David. I really enjoyed you as a guest.
Well, thank you.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and if you've got anything, you know, coming up, you know, in a few months or anything that you want to promote, you are more than welcome back on the show. We loved having you here.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And to your audience, I appreciate all of you being there and giving some feedback. And just know I definitely am that big cuddly teddy bear with claws. So someone has to come up with like an emoticon with that.
Actually, I've seen that in an anime, I think. They took like the Grateful Dead bear and then they added claws to him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty ruthless.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, I think it is time to say good night. So, good night, Gracie.
Good night, everybody. Be well.
All right.